Chase Nye, touchdown. The linebacker picked it up. That was not a forward pass. First down and 10, football at the 41. Potts cutting to the outside. Grayson Potts bounces out 40, 35, 30, 25, 20. Potts, end zone, touchdown. Back to pass. Magnano steps up again to the outside Simmons. Look what he does after the catch. Down that sideline, dances. He's gone. Marcus Simmons, touchdown, Millionaires.
Play action by Watkins, rolling to his right, throws wide open, touchdown! From the gun, drops back to pass, looks, throws over the middle in the end zone, circus catch in the end zone for a touchdown!
First quarter, on their third play from scrimmage, quarterback Brent Burley's pass gets picked off by Logan Ott and returned for a touchdown to put the Warriors up 7-0. Dylan Mall goes off left tackle, finds a seam, and takes it to the house, putting the Warriors up 14-0.
Indians going on 4th and 5 in the 10. Throw into the end zone. Wilt, touchdown Muncie. The Indians drive 62 yards. Action. Golden good. Back to pass. Got a man there going up. What a catch. 25, 20, 15, 10. Touchdown. 67 yards.
Throw and possibly a completion.
Here comes South on 4th down. Flick. Throw to the end zone. That ball is caught. Cole Lentz, touchdown. It's down here to the right. They come Altner, winner. Big hole in the middle. The fullback running inside the 5. Touchdown. Mounties.
Welcome to Touchdowns and Tailgates, powered by the Fairfield Auto Group. And we're back here at Ichiban, and I'm with Chris Massey from the Sun Gazette. Is it true you're doing a rain dance each week, so we come here for lunch?
Well, yeah, I like lunch here, so I don't like the rain, but you get a little...
We would love to be outside, but you don't win when you play against Mother Nature, do you?
Exactly. She's undefeated, unfortunately.
She's undefeated. So we got a lot to talk about this week. Week 4's in the book, Week 5 ahead. Why don't we start with you, or you were at Muncie and South Williamsport, and tell us about that.
That was a great game. Muncie made a big statement with the 32-24 win, and it looked like it was a typical South game in the first half. They're up 4, had the ball 3 times, hold the ball for almost 18 minutes, score every time, and then Muncie, for lack of a better phrase, out South Williamsport in the second half and did to them what South does to so many teams and wore them down.
I think that's a compliment.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, that's what South has built its tradition on, and Muncie did it to them.
And your article and coverage was outstanding and right on point in the Sun Gazette, by the way.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. But the one thing that became evident as the game wore down, and I talked to you, we thought South would come out that second half full of piss and vinegar and would take the game to Muncie.
Yeah,
the exact
exactly.
opposite happened.
Yeah, that shocked me. South had the ball to start the second half, and I figured this is what they do. And those 4 and 5 yard runs that you're getting in the first half with South, a lot of times in the second half, as the game wears on, they become 60, 70 yard touchdown runs. And Muncie never let it happen, and Muncie stuck with its game plan and kind of drove South into the ground eventually.
And I talked to Coach Eisworth. He was very complimentary of the Muncie Indians and how physical, how well coached, and how they approached the game. And hopefully we see them again down the road.
There's a very good chance of it. South's got a tough schedule coming up, but with the new power rankings, that they'll be rewarded for that, and I think they'll be in the playoffs, and so will Muncie.
Oh, I think so.
It would be a lot of fun to see them play again.
From there, we have so many. The high school football world has been turned up. Well, the world's upside down, anyways. But the high school football world in our area has been turned upside down. You want to start with Loyalsock or Williamsport, or where are we going to
go? We'll go with the good news first, and we'll talk about Williamsport. That's a dream kind of game for me. I love offense, and you're not going to get much more offense than
64-63, went for 2 instead of the extra point to win in regulation.
Yeah, unbelievable. That's 64 points. A lot of teams will work 2, 3, 4 weeks to get that many points. and just highlights the explosiveness that both teams have. I thought it would be a shootout, but not 64. I don't think anybody could predict that. I thought like 42-35, something like that.
I watched the Webb Weekly Live. Gary Chrisman had the Muncie South game. Babe Mayer flipped over and watched the Williamsport game.
Because it didn't end for a while.
My team of Paul and Paul had that game. We flipped over. Jimmy and I, it was still the third quarter.
Yeah, I think I was watching updates and stuff when I got back to the office. I think it was 10:40 when it ended. So.
And PA Sports Live had great coverage and right to the end, and we watched the game. Just an amazing game. And that was the good. Let's go to the bad.
Connor Watkins breaking his collarbone, and his career's probably over. And I said it with Dylan Farinato last week, and it's a punch in the gut. Anytime you see a kid get hurt, it stinks. It's frustrating, but especially it goes double when they're so good, like Connor Watkins was, and he was going to shatter every area passing record there was for his career. He was only one touchdown pass away from tying Bryson Musina for the all-time record, and it just stinks. I mean, he was having such a good season, and it's just a bummer.
And Connor Watkins is obviously very close to the Webb family, and we grew up with Connor and with his brother Chase Waller, and from a personal standpoint, it's like you said, it's a punch in the gut because all the hard work that Connor put in, all the things that he did to make himself the player, and no matter what you say, that senior year is special.
Oh, it's your last chance.
You talk to guys that go on to college that play, and they'll tell you how special, not the but that's it. And to have it end that way is just a shame. And Connor will be back. He's a tough kid, and hopefully we see him back for baseball. Hopefully basketball, but definitely baseball
too.
And just too bad for Connor and the Lancers. But hey, don't worry, Coach Van Fleet will circle the wagons, and Chase Kavanaugh will get a chance, and they have some athletes that.
And Chase in a really tough circumstance on Friday played pretty well.
He did.
So there's something to grow on there.
And what was lost in all that, there were a few drops Loyalsock had. If they would have made a couple more catches and one less apparent fumble, the thing would have ended a different way.
Absolutely.
But let's move on. So now we have all that going on, and now we're in Week 5, and Week 5 begins with the rivalry game, Montoursville and Loyalsock.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess it's easy. One could say maybe it's lost some luster with Connor being out, but that wouldn't be true to say that because it doesn't matter who's on the field, what's at stake. It's Montoursville Loyalsock. It's a big deal and a big game.
The only thing lost in that game is the excitement. Everybody likes watching Connor play.
Absolutely.
Even J.C. Kiefer, he'll tell you off the camera. And that excitement of what he can do, because it doesn't come around very often. We miss, but it'll be a great game.
Yeah.
And I got a feeling things will be changed and adjusted. It's different when you lose a player during the game and not have a week to prepare. So why don't we lead right to that, to your top 5?
Yeah,
that's a good lead in, because Montoursville obviously stock up. Big win. Loyalsock probably stock down a little. I don't know yet, but go ahead.
It's a jinx. Whoever's number 1. I think 3-4 straight weeks it's been different, and some people might disagree, but I'm going to move Muncie all the way up to number 1.
I was hoping you did that. The Muncie Indians are very deserving of that. Coach T and the whole group. Let's talk about him quick.
Yeah, he's doing a great job. They only have 30 guys on the roster, but man, they're physical. Their tackling against South was awesome. So many times South breaks big plays because it's breaking tackles, and Muncie never let it happen.
And you and I talked about that. Their tackling was as good as I've seen in a high school football game.
Yeah.
I mean, they gave up the 6-yard run, but they didn't give up the 60-yard.
Exactly. And Mike Kustenbauer at linebacker, at fullback, that kid's a beast. Coleman Good's a great athlete.
Coleman Good, his stock's way up at the quarterback position as an athlete.
He's a great leader.
Yep, absolutely. And who else you got from the Muncie Indians you want to work in there?
Dylan Wilt's having a really good year at wide receiver and cornerback. He's one of the better corners around. And Colby Moyer, tight end and corner, had a fabulous game.
Colby Moyer's another beast.
Yeah.
He's that Gronkowski type guy. that if you can get him the ball, he can do things that smaller individuals can't do.
And he showed that on his 67-yard touchdown.
He did.
He catches a 25-yard pass, breaks a tackle, and he's gone the rest of the way.
And on defense, he just showed us the ability for him to catch the ball because he showed great hands on both interceptions.
He did, and the one he made that he returned at a 3-yard line was the game changer because South had just taken the lead and they had some momentum, and Colby Moyer switched everything, and that was the play of the game, I thought.
And we'll move on. We could talk about Muncie all day long. They were my Webb Weekly Team of the Week last
Yeah, they
week.
deserve it.
And you talk about jinxes. They were the first Team of the Week that won after I named the Team of the Week.
There you go. They're breaking trends.
Number 2. Montoursville Warriors.
They responded well from their first loss, 47-0 against Warrior Run. And I think we expected them to win, but I thought Warrior Run had played well in Week 3, so it was an impressive bounce-back win. And really like the way Hunter Shearer's playing. He's having a great season. And Montour doesn't have that 1 or 2 horses that it rides. It's got about 8 different guys that are doing things, and they're spreading the ball around and utilizing all their weapons well.
And again, they're very fundamentally sound and seem to be getting better. I don't think they took a step back against Jersey Shore. I think Jersey Shore was ready for them.
They were. It was a tough game.
And a good game, but Montoursville is solid. We'll just let it, and they're young.
Exactly, and I think they'll get better and better.
Number 3.
Lewisburg.
The Green Dragons.
Yeah, they played, even though they lost Ellen Farinato, their offensive line's playing great, and Max Moyer's 5 more touchdowns, so they're still looking pretty good.
Moyer's a hard runner, tough runner. I mean, Farinato on the outside will hurt him down the road.
Yeah.
But for right now, they're a good ball team.
Yeah, and he's only a sophomore.
Number 4.
Williamsport jumping back in.
That'll make the port people happy.
Yeah, give him. I think Chuck Cruz has been using me for some bulletin board material and me picking against them and whatever it takes. Well, and that's a huge win for them to find a way under adverse circumstances against a good team. That could be a good springboard for them.
And there's athletes all over the field when you watch Williamsport, but go ahead and. Marcus Simmons might have had the play that we look back that really got their season going the right way.
Yeah, it was a simple, it looked like a 5-10 yard pass to him near the 50, and he does the rest from there, and he broke a bunch of tackles. He was stumbling around the 15-yard line, kept his balance, found his way into the end zone, and then he recovers the fumble
to seal the game.
Yeah, so that, he came, great players often come up huge and big moments, and he proved it right there.
And obviously quarterback Joe Fagnano he's a stud and solid every week. And Trayson Potts, for everybody out there, he could be the player of the week every week.
He could.
But here's the thing, we try to Chris Massey and the Sun Gazette Webb Weekly and our Team of the Week, we try to spread things around a little bit.
Yeah.
So he is definitely, with Connor down, he's our like Humboldt County top candidate for the Heisman Trophy now. So
absolutely. And he's anytime he touches the ball, something great could happen. He has a chance to break a big play.
Yep. Better move on. Who's next?
Wellsboro makes its debut at number 5.
Our Northern Tier representative.
4-0, and they keep losing. The names change, but the results don't. And second half team, they were down 3-0 against Towanda, and they win 30-3. They've outscored their last 2 opponents 56-0 in the second half after being tied and losing at the half. So they keep finding a way.
I'm going to have to go up to the Northern Tier with you and watch them play, or we can wait for them to come down one way or the other. But they do a fundamentally good job each year with the Green Hornet program.
Yeah.
And all the sports now, football, basketball, baseball, they're a formidable opponent. So
across the board, they've got a really good program.
Rounding out the top 5.
That was it.
Oh, that was it. Okay, that was quick.
That was number 5.
Well, there we go. Do we want to do 6 this week?
We could go on and on.
No, we'll stop right there. So we'll take a commercial break, and we'll be right back here at Ichiban with Chris Massey.
Over the years, this area has seen its share of ups and downs. And for the past 30 years, our employees have been dedicated to making sure your investment in your vehicle goes a long way, from sales to service. And we promise that same level of commitment for the next 30 years. It's your time, Central Pennsylvania. You deserve a fair deal. Fairfield. You're gonna love us.
And we're back at Ichiban, and we can see why I was distracted and wanted out of the 16 because our food was coming. It was
Yeah, good call.
And back to school roll. Try it. It's phenomenal. Chris went with the chicken and the shrimp. Always good.
Yes.
But we want to wrap things up here and eat. And I still think they're doing that rain dance, so we end up inside. But player of the week, Doc Massey, Sun Gazette Player of the Week.
Well, I had two running backs, and we talked about Trayson. Trayson's one of them. Trayson
Very good
Potts,
choice.
Over 400 all-purpose yards, 251 rushing, 5 touchdowns. It was just a typical Trayson Potts awesome performance.
I know. Jimmy was watching the game with me, and he was just saying amazing.
Yeah.
Jimmy said Trayson's better than advertised. I mean, he is that good.
Yep.
And hopefully the line comes along. They'll be formidable at 6A level in playoff time.
Yeah, I think
Who else
so.
you got Player of the Week?
Hunter Budman from Montgomery.
Montgomery got off the schneid.
Yeah.
They won their first game. In case we didn't talk about it much, but Montgomery lost their quarterback game one.
That hurt a lot.
And that hurt Montgomery.
Yeah.
But Player of the Week?
Yeah, Hunter Budman, 331 yards rushing. They used him in the Wildcat a lot, and he's one of the best players in the area, and he showed it. He kind of put the team on his back and helped will them to a big win.
Good win over Sayre.
Yeah.
And hopefully that gets them going the right direction. So.
I think it could.
And playoffs a long ways away, so we'll see what happens there.
Yeah, I wouldn't count them out.
You got anything to add?
I think that's it.
Well, I'm going to head out to Loyalsock after we eat. We're going to talk with Coach Van Fleet in the Battle of the Bridge, and we got Coach Cruz down the road. We got the Montoursville Warriors. Busy week ahead.
Absolutely.
Where are you going to be Friday night?
Battle of the Bridge.
Battle of the Bridge.
Montoursville.
I'll watch a game with you. How's that?
Sounds good.
Take a little commercial break. We'll be right back.
I play softball, fast mass.
We play soccer, fast mass.
We're here at Loyalsock Township, and I'm with head coach Justin Van Fleet. Hey, Coach.
How's it going? Thank you for coming.
Oh, you're welcome. You welcome us into where all the work is done here, huh?
Well, this is where the games are won, is when no one's watching in the stingy room. It's certainly not as shiny as some weight rooms, but it works quite well. We're stocked with equipment and taken care of.
And obviously this has come a long way since you've taken over as head coach. I've watched the whole process, including the equipment, which you and I have talked. You've done a great job developing the program and building the program, and our uniforms now are some of the nicest in the area. So tip of the cap to you.
Thank you. Facilities-wise, the school's been great with this. Obviously, the field has a lot of notoriety this year, and then the equipment that's underneath the jerseys and such has been. They've done a great job of supplying us with the needed equipment. So
and we'll give one more shout out, Larry Allison Jr. And the donation he made to the new turf, just fantastic on his part and for the program and every, not just football program. That's truly a community facility that's used by so many.
Yeah, it's never off. There's soccer out there every day. There's an awful lot of time that there are 3 or 4 sports at the same time out there, including the marching band is one of the sports that's out there working, and you know it's used legitimately every day, all day long. The hurricane's coming through right now, so it's probably not on. No one's on there at this point, but. I'd bet someone will try to get on who's trying to sneak a practice in.
No problem with that. But, hey, let's talk about the guys inside the uniforms. Tough night Friday night, and I don't want to dwell on it long, but talk about Connor Watkins a little bit. I mean, he's been like a son to me over the years and growing up. But let me get your take on him.
Well, certainly it affected all of us quite heavily. He was the field general and an individual that we counted on not just for offense and defense, but an awful lot more. So losing Connor to a collarbone injury certainly put a damper on things, and then we lost a number of other players as the game continued. Never really seemed to catch our ground, and then when we had opportunities, they were either squandered on our accord or we had situations where we weren't able to take advantage. So certainly that's a game that one of those that we want to more so burn the tape and clear it, and then get ourselves prepared for this week. But there wasn't, when we talk about last Friday, if something could have gone funky, it did, including sitting up in the bleachers of the baseball field for halftime. So,
and I wasn't aware of it until a couple days later, and I read, and I didn't know what you meant, but the game was actually played on the old turf at Bloomsburg University.
Yeah.
And I've been on that turf. That's like cement.
Yeah,
and I'm not knocking Bloomsburg's turf, but
nothing against it. But the surface we're standing on, the tile surface we're currently standing on, is softer. And so the field was rough conditions, but we were excited to play at Bloomsburg University. Appreciate getting up there and playing there. However, in the long run, certainly that was one of the more complicated things of the evening.
And obviously, we know the game wasn't at Bloomsburg because of Mother Nature always
right.
wins.
Yes.
So hey. Next man up. You and I have talked about it over the years. It's a sad reality as a football coach, as a parent, and definitely as a player. So it's next man up. What do we got going?
Well, as soon as Connor went down, certainly the positive is we do have another very good quarterback on the roster in Chase Kavanaugh, who's been preparing for a number of years, and you saw him in the lineup as a wide receiver as well as a safety throughout this entire season. So he was ready to go. He came in, threw the ball around quite well, was able to run the offense. So I'm very excited about what he can do for us. Although certainly there's no complicated argument here. Losing Connor is quite devastating. But in the same sense, when we lost Marcus Williams,
yes,
and Connor came in, that was in large part how Connor's career started for us, was on the heels of tragedy.
Right.
And therefore, we're looking forward to seeing what Chase can bring to the table. Like I said, he's prepared himself, and the cupboard's certainly not bare, although certainly what we'll be doing moving forward is a bit different.
And again, he comes from good stock.
Yes.
We watched Cole run around the last few years. Good athlete, both sides of the ball. And just from my observation, no offense to all the older brothers out there, but usually as the younger brothers go down in order, they get a little bit better because they're always chasing the bigger brothers and the bigger brothers' friends. So
yeah, both Cole and I were the oldest siblings, and we'll argue against that. However, certainly the history is the history, and the one thing I'll say about the entire Kavanaugh family is you won't find a tougher group of people. Yeah. So Chase was out there, he was slinging it.
The Kavanaugh family has learned to circle the wagons. They've been through a lot worse than most. So let's move right on. Hey, hard to believe we're going into week 5, but we got the bridge.
Yep.
The Battle of the Bridge, rivalry week, whatever you want to call it. Throw all the records out. Who cares? Let's go get them.
Yeah, certainly the kids are excited. The community's excited on both sides of the creek. And across the board, I think it should be a great opportunity for ourselves to try to showcase what we're working towards.
I told Mike Yusina that us guys on this side call it the crick, and the Montoursville guys call it the creek, and we go back and forth on that. But
it is called the Loyalsock one, though.
Yeah, the Loyalsock one. Yeah, there's no
Montoursville. There's no Montoursville.
And to everybody out there, it was a spoof. They are not going to paint the bridge half maroon and half blue and gold. I was joking around in an article, and a lot of people actually believed that when they unveiled the bridge, that it was going to be painted for the rivalry game.
Well, they did hide it quite well for environmental purposes for a number of weeks there. That it was a good joke.
And if you and I were younger, you know what we'd do?
We would have stuck in and painted it.
That darn bridge, but cut that. But no, seriously though, hey, thoughts of the rivalry week, they go back to when I played in it, and obviously you've played in it, and it's just such a special time here at the township and at school. You want to tell me everything that's going on away from football in the school?
Well, certainly there's a whole spirit week and everything else, and there's a bit of a different flavor to it. Certainly this year is, interestingly enough, Coach Kiefer's son and my daughter, Madeline, they're both in first grade, and they sit next to each other. So the elementary school's having a heck of a fun time with that, as well as all parts. This rivalry's turned into a lot different than I think it's been in the past. It was always a rivalry of people who knew one another, but at this point, the kids all know each other a bit extra well. Yeah. And in addition to that, Coach Kiefer is a staple within our community. Also, you'll find him at baseball games doing the youth wrestling here. He'll be palling around. We're always end up, as coaching staffs and everything else, we always end up around each other. So this has a true brothers rivalry going on within the kids, within the coaches, where on Friday night it'll be dog eat dog. However, leading up through it, there's an awful lot of respect, and certainly, you know, circumstances and situations always come up to make this game interesting.
And you and I have talked off the mic. You know how I feel about JC and Coach Kiefer. He's truly one of the good guys.
He is.
And I got to tell one quick story, and then we'll move on to your Lancer players. He needed something for the elementary wrestling program.
Yes.
So I helped him out.
Right. You got him the scoreboards?
Helped him out a little bit. And when he came over to pick up what he needed, they put Montoursville Elementary Wrestling because they just assumed that it would be from Montoursville, and I had to tell him it was Loyalsock Elementary.
Yeah,
Wrestling.
I believe that.
And just a funny story about the rivalry and Coach Kiefer.
Yeah.
He's a good man, and as you are, and I look forward to the game Friday night. Should we get a couple of your players in here?
Yeah, certainly. Love to have them get an opportunity to come up. They've been performing very well.
For our folks at Fairfield Auto Group, we'll take a little commercial break. We'll be right back.
Over the years, this area has seen its share of ups and downs. And for the past 30 years, our employees have been dedicated to making sure your investment in your vehicle goes a long way, from sales to service. And we promise that same level of commitment for the next 30 years. It's your time, Central Pennsylvania. You deserve a fair deal. Fairfield. You're gonna love us.
And I'm back at Loyalsock, and I got a couple players I know real well, but like we always do, boys, you introduce yourselves.
Hi, I'm Gerald Ross. I'm a senior wide receiver here, and I also play cornerback.
I'm Bam Brima. I'm a DN, and I'm real good at trash talking.
All right, Bam. And we'll get to Bam here in a minute. Gerald, let's start with you. I've known you since you were a little Gerald, right?
Yeah.
And it's been a great run, all-state basketball, all-state football. Just an all-around good guy, aren't you?
Yeah, you know, this past basketball season, our team went to the Elite Eight. I had a great group of guys. We went really far. I got Sun Gazette Basketball Player of the Year. Got third team All-State for basketball, first team All-State for football, and it was just a good junior year.
Great junior year, All-State in 2 different sports, and here we are, your senior year. Hard to believe, isn't it?
Yeah, you know, coming in as a freshman, I never thought time would fly by so fast, but senior year, you know, just gotta live in the moment.
My advice always is enjoy every day because it goes by way too fast.
Yes, it does.
Battle of the Bridge this week.
Oh yeah, you know, last year it was a great game. We pulled away, but I'm expecting an even better game this year. You know, we lost some players, but you know, we're still coming out strong. It's going to be a great game.
Let's pass it over to Bam for a second. We'll talk to him a little bit. Bam, you came in last year, and your growth, not only physically but mentally, has been tremendous. I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
And I remember when you came in here, you were first year football, maybe?
No, I played
varsity football.
Yeah, first year varsity.
Varsity football. And you had a long way to come, and you did it last year. Tell me your last year to this year and how playing for Coach here it's been.
It's been amazing, actually. It's been a great experience in my life.
Well, that's fantastic. And through it, you've worked yourself to D1 scholarship at the University of Pittsburgh, and congratulations.
Thank you, thank you.
And you're looking forward to that.
Very much so.
What's your favorite part of the rivalry game? Because you learned quick what it means to everybody.
I just like when the lights come on and we just get to talk with the pads.
Get to talk with the pads. That's a great way to put it. And the guys on the other side of the creek, people that don't play in it don't understand, but everybody wants to win the game. But at the end of the day, it's become a pretty darn clean game and a lot more about athletic ability than it is about who wins, correct?
Yes, sir.
And at the end of the day, you always want to win.
Always.
Anything you want to throw in about the rivalry game?
No.
All right, let's go back to Gerald here. Gerald, you lost your gunslinger. You lost the guy that put it out there, Connor. Anything you want to say to Connor?
You know, he's a tough kid. He's probably the toughest kid on the team. I know he'll get through this. You know, he's destined for a great career at Villanova. He's done so much for this program, and best, you know, Godspeed with his recovery.
And double that from me. And without him this last week, Chase came in, but this week against Montoursville, you can throw that all out the window, can't you?
Yeah, you know, but hey, Chase is a great quarterback.
Right.
I'm not going to grade him or anything. Yeah.
We can move you to quarterback this week. It's going to be a good football.
Yeah.
We could move Bam in there, right?
Yeah, you know, just put the ball in the air. That's all we need.
All right. Anything you want to tell me about the game? Any insight?
No, expect anything.
Expect the unexpected, right?
Anything, yeah.
Let's throw it back over to Bam. Bam, how about you? We got rivalry week this week, the Montoursville game. What does that mean to you now that you've been here a while? You played it and so forth.
Adversity, we have a lot of it right now, and I just know as a team we're going to push right past that.
And adversity makes you stronger, right?
Yeah.
You want to give us a tip at where you would like to go? Because you're going somewhere, son. I know that.
Yeah, I know it's we don't know yet, but there's a lot of schools I'm talking to right now and feel comfortable with. So
you want to shoot threes or do you want to catch TDs? Yeah, that's pretty good, isn't it?
We'll see. Yeah, it's good. I know we'll see what the best opportunity for me is.
Well, there's no doubt in my mind you'll be playing next year somewhere.
Thank you.
And for the next few years. Thanks, boys. Good luck.
Thank you.
Look forward to the game.
Over the years, this area has seen its share of ups and downs. And for the past 30 years, our employees have been dedicated to making sure your investment in your vehicle goes a long way, from sales to service. And we promise that same level of commitment for the next 30 years. It's your time, Central Pennsylvania. You deserve a fair deal. Fairfield. You're gonna love us.
And I'm up here on the hill at Williamsport in the Commons with head coach Chuck Cruz. Hey, Coach.
How you doing?
Good. Hey, great game Friday night.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Now, where do we start? With the 64 points we scored or with the 63 that were given up?
It's your dime. We start where you want, but I guarantee you I'll finish it.
That was an amazing game. And to go for 2, the way the game finished, I mean, it's always good to get the W no matter how many points are on the other side. It's about getting a W.
Indeed.
So take it from there, Coach.
Well, in the second half, it became a straight-out shootout. In the first half, we were doing very well. Their first 4 possessions were 3 and outs and a turnover. So we were playing very good defense to start off. And then, my gosh, David Horton, number 23, he caught fire. He was running, like he was Achilles. We couldn't stop him. And then his numbers for the evening showed 7 touchdowns, 250-plus yards rushing.
And it's easy for folks out there that wonder about Williamsport, but Hazleton's one of the biggest schools in the state.
Indeed.
Always have a solid football program.
Indeed.
Always put a good product out there, and it's never a gimme.
Yeah, but they can only play 11 at a time.
That's
so
right.
what it boiled down to, our 11 got the job done. It's a team that we may face again, so we expect if that does happen in the playoffs for another great game. But it was good. We got the W, and that's all that mattered.
And the way you went about it, you got a lot of different players involved, but at the end of the day, the big names came through, but it gave you an opportunity to evaluate a lot of kids in a game, because let's be honest, 64-63 is like playing about 3 games in one night, right?
Yes, indeed. We once we got the film up, we had over 200-some clips of film, and the one thing we did not want to do was to go into overtime, so we made up our mind probably about halfway through the third quarter that when the time was right, we were going to go for 2 and see if we can turn the tide and put a little pressure on them.
Again, it takes stones to do that, but I think it was the right decision, and I think you hit the nail on the head. And folks out there, you don't understand how much film coaches watch and how much of the job is folks don't see is evaluating your kids, evaluating the opponent, and making sure you have a game plan. But that call, fantastic. Did you have the play picked out, or did you wait until the situation?
Well, as my role as a head coach allows me to manage the game, so I made a decision to go for 2. I said, Coach Brown, I let him know early, hey, at some point we're going to go for 2. You dial up something you like and let's make it happen. He said, I got you, Coach, and that's all I needed. Once he said, I got you, Coach, he put it together and the boys executed it. And what you get is Williamsport 64, Hazleton 63.
And you and I are on the same page anymore. There's where I wanted you to go, was with Coach Brown and the offense and making the call. We got to give him a tip of the helmet.
Indeed.
And he's been solid since you began coaching here. You have the utmost confidence. Give me a soundbite about Coach Brown, something we don't hear every day. Give me something away from the norm.
For those who know him, you know that he has, a lot of swag with him, but he walks very humbly. So some of the exchanges that we have on the sideline are kind of blue, and I can't repeat them here, but just know when he believes it, he gets the boys on the offensive side to believe it, and they just roll. He was a good coach before I got here. He was on with Coach Choate. Matter of fact, the entire offensive staff was. So
I think you left Kevin loose, though, is the best thing you did. I think you let him have the responsibility and let him wear it.
You don't hire people if you want to micromanage them. Why hire somebody to do a job if you're going to do it for them?
I know you're busy. We got a lot of millionaires players waiting over here. But let's talk about the history of Williamsport football. Walked around here. We got a Heisman Trophy winner from Williamsport High School, Larry Kelly.
Yes,
we start with Gary Brown right down at that end. We work her all the way. I mean, I'm not going to go through them all. You'll see them at home, all the players. But we come all the way around, and one thing's obvious. You've put a lot of all-state players on the field in your tenure here at Williamsport.
Well, it wasn't me. It was us. It was us. I've been fortunate to be the head coach, to have Ross Stebbins 2 times, to have Isaiah Hankins, to have Elliott Walker, to have.
And I know you're a
Jalen
humble
Jackson.
man, but you still have to have a system. You still have to have. You let your coaches coach. You still have to have a program in place that showcases their talent. And you've managed. I mean, it's amazing to me. I remember the days in Chris Massey talk, we couldn't get any all-state recognition. Now, we have gone to 6 classifications, but you go down through all the levels of football, and it's pretty darn good football in our area.
Yes, indeed.
And the guys up on the wall here just proves it out.
Indeed. Listen, we're just building on the foundation that was laid before us. Like I said, we're 7th all-time in the state. We're 35th all-time in the country in total victories. That's nothing to poo-poo at. You know, when you think about all the teams that play football, play high school football across the country, for us to say that in the state there's only 6 teams who have more wins than us, and across the entire country, all 50 states, I wonder if that includes, Puerto Rico, the Virgin Islands, and the Philippines.
That's pretty amazing.
More, right? But they say that we're 35, yes, that's good. So we have been blessed to have Stebbins, and then for last year to have Joe to crack the wall, and then Kurt to be his second
Isaiah
time.
Hankins.
Yes.
I mean, go right down the line.
Trey Potts, you know what I mean? Hopefully he gets his second shot. Hopefully Marcus gets his first, and we get a few more first
buddy
timers.
Ethan Stryker, I got to give him some love.
You got to love Strike, yes, indeed.
I mean, again, behind me here was Jamie Allen, and you can't see, we'll see him. But I forgot how big Jamie was till I looked up on that pictures, and that was back in the day where you wore the biggest shoulder pads you can find, you know? And folks at home will see what I mean. Well, hey, we got to move on here. Quick overview of the game this Friday night. Again, another good opponent.
Indeed, we're going up to Crestwood. Coach Myers is an outstanding coach. What they do offensively, they do a lot of things that are very difficult for you to replicate in practice, so it's going to be a tough challenge for us to dial in and have a good week of practice. Defensively, they're big, they're aggressive, they like to run and then come at you, and they like to hit you. So we have to be nice moving targets, because you can't hit what you can't see, baby. Should be a good ball game. PA Sports Live, Webb Weekly Live will have the game for you. My team of Paul and Paul. Okay. Have you talked much to Paul and Paul? Yeah, I did. I spent much time talking to Paul last Friday. He almost got me fired. He tried to get me to go to Mohegan Sun. That was not my idea. That was Paul's idea. Coach Cruz did not want to go to Mohegan Sun. No, I did not. So, and he is not Pete Rose on any of his teams, so he's good there. Not at all. What's the spread for this Friday? But hey, we better move along. Good luck Friday night. Thanks for the time. We'll get some millionaires in after this commercial break.
Over the years, this area has seen its share of ups and downs. And for the past 30 years, our employees have been dedicated to making sure your investment in your vehicle goes a long way, from sales to service. And we promise that same level of commitment for the next 30 years. It's your time, Central Pennsylvania. You deserve a fair deal. Fairfield. You're gonna love us.
We're back here in the Hill, and I got some millionaires with me. Wonderful game. 64-63, a basketball game broke out Friday night. But go ahead, introduce yourself the way we do it. If you're familiar with Key and Peele at home, the kids will know that. That's how we do this. So make it fun, make it easy.
Isaac Ritter. I play DN, tight end, and I'm number 10.
Number 10, Isaac. What's your favorite part of football?
Scoring touchdowns.
Scoring touchdowns. Should I say? I'll let you go first.
I'm Colin Esposito. I'm a senior. I play receiver. I'm number 6.
And I've known Colin since we'll go with the little fella. How about that? And Colin is like a son to me over the years when we travel and go to ball games and supported his brothers. Now it's great to see you, Colin, the Esposito family, you getting some time for yourself. How does it feel to carry that on for your family?
Well, my dad was a great receiver, so I'm just wanting to be like him.
Your dad was, I watched your dad, he could run too, like you can. He was quick, fast, good hands, just like you.
Thank you.
We'll give him a shout out.
Hey, shout out to my dad, South Williamsport, All-State.
On down to you.
Hi, I'm Anthony Robinson. I'm a senior. I play middle linebacker. I'm number 7.
What's your favorite, number 7? You know, I got a thing for number 7 linebackers, but I know your answer, but what's your favorite part of football?
Probably hitting.
Hitting people, right? Yeah. You got to like to light them up at linebacker. Right. Did you nail anybody Friday night?
I hit some.
Hit some?
Yeah.
Okay, let's move the mic on down.
I'm Jason Kelly. I play left tackle, and my number's 55.
And you fly under the radar. You're on the line. You get to block. You get to do all the things that fly. A little bit, people don't recognize you. But what's it like to block and have Trayson and the athletes behind you that you do?
It's nice that you know that you have a great group of guys behind you, and you know, and as a lineman, we try to secure those blocks for them and create them.
Absolutely.
The plays.
What's your favorite part of football? What's your being with your teammates, blocking?
I think
everything that everybody out there doesn't know how tight of a family you become. So do you like the whole atmosphere, or do you like game day better?
I just think as a family, like we grow all together, and we have 12 seniors this year.
Yes.
So we've been through a lot. So.
And through a lot. And let's pass it on. 12 seniors this year, and as you've come up through, and Coach Cruz came here, what's the biggest change you've seen? And don't say winning. What's the biggest change you see?
Probably the atmosphere of coaches, like trying to change from coach to coach, trying to see the differences between one and another.
And it's truly a family event up here now. I mean, the coaches, they're tough coaches, and you guys work hard, but it's obvious you guys love each other and you're one big family.
Right.
You look sharp in those sweatsuits when you travel too, right?
I think so.
All right, let's pass over here. You can hold on to that, Colin. Let's start with you. Senior year.
Yeah.
You're right where you want to be. You're on the field playing.
Yeah.
What do you want to accomplish from this point out?
From this point out, we just need to put together a good 48 minutes of football, just like Coach Cruz said. Yeah.
And districts are coming up. Obviously, there's a long way. Coach Cruz, he's off camera. Obviously, districts, we got to go a week at a time. But your senior year, you want to miss Stakeman. How do you want to go out up here your senior year?
Well, I want to go out a district champ for the second time, and I at least want to make a run in states. We need to make a run.
And that's the answer I'm looking for. I knew you'd give it to me. Anybody else you want to give a shout out to?
Shout out to Tanner at UMBC, I guess.
Tanner Esposito.
Go hard.
Go Tanner, playing a little college baseball. How about back to you? Let's talk about your year. What are you looking to accomplish this year?
Just as a group for us to push harder and to give for a tight end spot to give the whole offensive line a push and give Trayson holes to score.
And you guys do a great job, and you can catch the ball too, like Ethan Stryker did last year. You got a lot of work around Ethan. Did he work with you quite a bit?
Yes, he's during the off season he came and worked with me. He helped me tremendously. He's a great guy.
I knew that. I had a little inside information, but thanks for taking me there.
Yeah.
All right, so let's go one thing. Friday night, tell me what you know about Crestwood and what you're going to have to do to win the ball game.
They're 11 guys. Your position. Our position.
Your position.
They like to blitz the end if we're by ourselves. They like to come hard at the end. We know that we have to get out there and block them and keep Joe safe.
Absolutely. We got to keep Joe upright, right?
Right.
Gotcha. Colin, how about you? What's your main objective for Friday night?
The main objective would probably be to just catch the ball, get what you can get, and then call the next play.
Get in the end zone, right?
Yes, that's another thing.
All right. How about you, Friday night? You're a linebacker. You're going to be hunting, aren't you?
Yeah. Read our keys, make sure we don't make no mental mistakes as a team, and just play defense.
And that's one thing people don't understand about the linebacker position. They think you just go out smash people, but you got to have a brain, and there's a lot of reading and thinking that goes on.
Right.
And some reason when the linebackers miss the read, they're the first guy that gets yelled at, aren't they? All right. Well, good luck Friday night. How about you? What's your responsibility Friday night, Crestwood?
Just create blocks and go hard to every whistle, and just go,
Same as do your best, give 100%, right?
Yep.
Well, thank you, gentlemen. Good luck Friday night against Crestwood, and a great win, 64-63. We might never see that again. We'll take a commercial break, and we'll kick it to Gary Chrisman.
Over the years, this area has seen its share of ups and downs. And for the past 30 years, our employees have been dedicated to making sure your investment in your vehicle goes a long way, from sales to service. And we promise that same level of commitment for the next 30 years. It's your time, Central Pennsylvania. You deserve a fair deal. Fairfield. You're gonna love us.
Memorial Stadium here in Montoursville, week of battle for the bridge between Loyalsock and these Montoursville Warriors. And guys, I've got to tell you, the Warriors are the Webb Weekly Team of the Week. I'll tell you, that means free pizza. Free pizza. Jim Webb's bringing for the pizza. Okay, we've got some pretty good sized guys. Peyton Fry, 6'4", 290. He's going to be anchoring the defensive line. Joey Rogers will be at the center defensive end spot. Logan Baloris at the inside linebacker spot. Guys, How big is this Loyalsock game? I mean, they was talking about rivalry games. Is it truly the game you point at, deep down all year?
Yeah, I mean, the bridge has always been a battle since I started playing, and it's always been one of the games that I especially get hyped up for during the season.
Okay, Joey Rogers, let's talk about you. You're going to be on both sides of the ball in this game. This is a big year for you guys. I know last year the coaches knew a lot of young guys were coming up, but this is your season to shine at both sides of the ball with all these youngsters coming up as the Warriors get better and better.
I definitely think that this year the seniors are playing with a chip on their shoulder because sophomore year and junior year we fell to the Lancers, so we're all playing to get our first bridge.
Absolutely. Let's go down to Logan. Logan, the linebacker spot will be big. We know Watkins won't be there, but that doesn't matter. They've got some really good players, some great wide receivers, running backs. Let's talk about some of the game plans, some of the keys that will come down to the linebacking core for this week's big game.
I think we got to hit them hard, tackle. Tackling's been one of our biggest things these last couple of weeks, and I think we got to kill them down there, especially at their running back position. They got some big guys and some good wide receivers.
How's the week of practice going?
It's going better, but, you can get better every day.
Yeah, and better every day. What did, losing that tough game to Jersey Shore, you knew you were better than that. What has that done for you since that loss, Joey? Has it helped you guys pick the game up, be a little bit more focused? Because I think a lot of the Warrior fans thought that was a game you're going to win.
We definitely needed a challenge coming off of the first couple weeks. It definitely was beneficial to us, and now we need to pick up our game and see where we're at, and Loyalsock will be our next big test. And how we do against them will predict the rest of our season, and I think we'll have a good shot at it.
Okay, how about free pizza? Logan, free pizza for the rest of these guys. Did you guys earn it? I think Webb Weekly feels you have.
Oh, heck yeah. I think we're going to come out here this Friday and we're going to show them what we really are.
And it's not a bad thing having this club here at home. Guys, we're going to be with you, Cable Sports, Babe, Mare, and I. It'll be our big game on Cable Sports, the Rennie Road Armel All-State game of the week. We've got free pizza. We've got the Warriors here. We're touchdowns and tailgates here at Montoursville, guys. Good luck. These guys are fired up. We've got more coming up. Don't go away.
Over the years, this area has seen its share of ups and downs. And for the past 30 years, our employees have been dedicated to making sure your investment in your vehicle goes a long way, from sales to service. And we promise that same level of commitment for the next 30 years. It's your time, Central Pennsylvania. You deserve a fair deal. Fairfield. You're gonna love us.
Well, we're back here in Montoursville. J.C. Kiefer, always fun when you're playing the Loyalsock Lancers. You guys are 3-1, feeling you should be 4-0, but maybe the Jersey Shore game was a lesson. You can't look ahead to other games and feel you got to take one game at a time. That's a game that they just came out, played well at the end, and beat you, but you think in the end it taught you guys a lesson.
Yeah, for sure. There was a little bit of beating ourselves there. I think we were getting a little complacent, but hopefully, just like in 2014, it kind of woke us up and got us playing. We've had a couple good practices, a couple weeks of practice since then, so some more competitions, and competition's always good. So when we're competing as well as we are for spots on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, that's usually works out pretty well on Friday nights.
Well, I'll tell you, we talked earlier this week. This is a team a year ago, only won 2 games. You got better as the year went on, a lot of young guys. You never get down in this team or the program knowing you've got a lot of really good guys coming up. And this year, you're having fun with this group. Good team, good kids, good chemistry means it could be a lot of W's.
And I think that's the whole key here. This group's fun to be around, on the field and off the field. We spend a lot of time together. And they're good kids. They want to be coached. They want to be told what to do. Where you have years where it's tougher to get kids to do what you want them to do. So sometimes you get into some bad habits with kids that have been playing a long time, and so we have some kids that are kind of fresh and wet behind the ears, and they're just sponges taking it all in right now. So we're getting better every week, and that's all we can look for in a ball club.
And you guys have 65 guys, and you're deep at a lot of key positions.
We are. We have 3 tailbacks that can be in the game at any point in time. I'm not so sure one's ahead of the other, and they're all underclassmen. I have 3 fullbacks that can be in the game at any time, and they're all underclassmen. So they're continuing to learn, but we're really deep there at the running back position. We're deep at the quarterback position, offensive line. So we have some depth, and that helps certainly, especially on some of these Fridays, where it's been kind of humid and warm, where we can get other guys in the ball game.
Okay, here comes Sock. You've had all these games over all the years. It always means it's a big rivalry game.
Yeah.
Connor Watkins not going to be there, and I know you would rather be playing heads up with their #1 quarterback. But you told me this week it's one of the things that happens to football players. You never know when it could be your last high school game.
Right, and that's something we talk about all the time here in Montoursville. And you're right, to answer your first question, I'd much rather Connor be out on that field, this Friday night. He's a good kid. I know him personally. Nobody wants to see anybody get hurt, but we're so close, Montoursville, Loyalsock, and I know a lot of those kids, and Coach Van Fleet and Coach Brown and Coach Browse and Coach Melito and all those guys over there. We know each other on a personal level, so nobody wants to see anybody get hurt. I'd rather Connor be out there and us competing. Like I talked about competition earlier, we love to compete. I'd rather be competing against Connor. Now let me tell you something, Chase Kavanaugh is a competitor as well, and he's going to be ready to go, and those coaches will have him ready to go.
And
so
they've got a fleet of really good receivers.
They do. Probably one of the best receiving cores that we've seen in this area in a long time. They have some kids that can jump through the roof. They're fast. They're physical. So it's still we're scratching our heads defensively trying to figure out what we're going to try to do to slow them down. So the competition part of it is always what we're looking for, and this sport is one of those sports where you never know where you could play your last game. We had Josh Dinges here that just graduated last year as a freshman, was a stud coming up, doesn't get a chance to play football again.
Right.
We just, Andrew Venema is a player we just had this year who just lost his lower leg last week and may never, play football again.
And
so
that was a off the field type
right. It was not a football injury.
A fluky injury.
It was a freak injury that happened. But the point is, guys, high school football is what it's all about. A game like this, take it all in, whichever side you're on. Take it all in, enjoy it, have fun. Somebody's got to lose, but you'll always look back on this game years from now because you never know when it could be your last game, and a game like this is just so fun to be a part of.
Does this week feel different so far in the school, around the borough? People are going, hey, Sock, it's Sock.
You know what? Not yet. That's an interesting question. Not quite yet. I think it's kind of snuck up on some people here week 5.
That's right.
People have been texting me, hey, are you really playing Loyalsock this week? Yes, and I wanted to. That's something between Coach Van Fleet and I that we decided that we'd rather do.
You don't want to meet back-to-back in the playoffs.
We could meet week 11, week 12.
That's right.
So we don't want to play week 10 and week 11, week 10, week 12. That's just no good for anybody. So I'm thinking here as the week goes on, the school, the atmosphere, the community is going to kind of wake up and go, hey, wait a second, this is for the bridge.
That's right. So. And we'll be pumping it up. And, okay, key, Coach, you're going to bring home the bridge trophy back to the borough here. To keep it here, how do you win? What do you have to do?
Like I told you earlier this week, they're explosive plays. I mean, they've got playmakers, you know what I mean? And whether it's Chase or Connor at the helm throwing the ball, they've got playmakers that can get the ball. I think the running game has snuck up on some people. They're starting to figure out who's pounding the rock for them a little bit, so we're not overlooking their big offensive line and their running game. So if we can stop their explosive plays, we'd like to think that we can get a couple explosive plays, hopefully, but we're going to, try to pound the ball and do what we do with Montoursville football and get that clock going. And if we can limit their explosive plays, I think we'll be in it in the fourth quarter.
Got to be fun. Coach, good luck. Thanks for all the help getting ready. We always talk to all the coaches. That's the story this week. J.C. Kiefer. It is for the bridge. Sock in Montoursville. I'm Gary Crispin, Cable Sports, and with Webb Weekly's touchdowns and tailgates. At the 41, Potts. Cutting to the outside. Grayson Potts bounces out. 40, 35, 30, 25, 20. Potts, end zone, touchdown. Back to pass. Magnano steps up again to the outside. Simmons. Look what he does after the catch. Down that sideline, dances. He's gone. Marcus Simmons, touchdown, Millionaires.
Play action by Watkins, rolling to his right, throws wide open, touchdown! from the gun, drops back to pass, looks, throws over the middle in the end zone, circus catch in the end zone for a touchdown.
First quarter. On their third play from scrimmage, quarterback Brent Burley's pass gets picked off by Logan Ott and returned for a touchdown to put the Warriors up 7-0. Dylan Mall goes off left tackle, finds a seam and takes it to the house, putting the Warriors up 14-0.
Indians going on 4th and 5 at the 10. Throw into the end zone. Will. Touchdown Muncie. The Indians drive 62 yards. Action. Golden good. Back to pass. Got a man there going up. What a catch. 25, 20, 15, 10. Touchdown. 67 yards.
Throw and possibly a completion.
Here comes South on 4th down. Flip. Throw to the end zone. That ball is caught. Cole Lentz, touchdown. It's down here to the right. They come Altner, Winner. Big hole in the middle. The fullback running inside the 5. Touchdown. Brownies.